Hello everybody, it's Siobhan here, the galloping housewife, off on my way in a very roundabout route to the yard again today. I'm actually going to the beauty therapist first to finally have my eyelashes and my eyebrows tinted, so that I will no longer look like Voldemort. Yeah, it's just one of those things that I like to do to, I don't know, vanity things that I like to have done is have my eyelashes tinted, eyebrows tinted. I like to do my nails, although I've been doing these for myself since the beginning of the first lockdown, when I have a really good friend who was a nail tech, and she used to come to my house and we'd have a chat and she'd do my nails. I'd pay her, of course. But then when lockdown happened and we weren't able to get into each other's households anymore, I bought my own kit. And yeah, I've been doing them myself ever since, which I'm very average at them, but I do like to have them done. I am thinking about actually having the luxury of having them done by a professional again, treating myself to that in the not too distant future. But of more pressing issues is having my eyelashes and eyebrows tinted. I know, ridiculous, but it is what it is. Just usual. After that, I'm going to go and do my walk, and then I'm going to go out to the yard, and whatever happens with the ponies happens. Yesterday I went and went into Ayr for a dentist appointment, and then did some errands in Ayr because I don't like to go into town very often, so just did some stuff that I needed to do in town, and then went out to the yard. And the problem with that is that I have my morning routine. I've talked about my morning routine, and get some work done in the morning before I go and do anything, and of course I didn't get to do that yesterday because I had to be in Cumnock in Ayr at 9:15, and so I did go to the yard, and I gave Mitch a bit of a run around. I actually thought he probably needed a day off the pressure, so just let him have a free lunch, and then did some in-hand work with him and at Liberty stuff. And I didn't ride Percy. It's had to come home and do something productive, but it's a bit frustrating, but that is what it is. And I'm putting a little bit of the emphasis on getting out of the house, to be honest, and doing the things that I need to do, because I've talked about this before, that it's been really easy, especially for someone like myself who's quite introverted and quite happy in my own company, to become increasingly socially isolated with the pandemic and everything that's gone on, and to not actually make the effort to get outside, to get outdoors, to just even normal day-to-day interactions with errands and stuff don't happen. I don't do any of the shopping, and so I am making myself actually get out of the house and do things, and that is where my emphasis is. That is as much of my self-care as it is anything else, rather than it being doing stuff because I have to. It's doing stuff because I know that those interactions are good for me. But anyway, like I said, on my way into town, we've got out to the yard, and we've got builders at my house at the moment, at our house. We're in a new build, which is and we've got really difficult landlords. Well, not our landlords, our property is owned by an estate, and it was brand new when we moved in June last year, and there has been work that actually they said would be finished before we moved in that still hasn't been done now, and I've put a bit of pressure on them, and 3 months after putting pressure on them, we're finally having patio doors fixed, which means that we can actually secure our house, which is it's a long time to go without being able to secure your house. But that's that's going on at home at the moment. But and I just and they were talking about the fact that when they were building the house, they really liked where it was. They've talked about it being at the end of a road, at the end of the drive, at the end of the road. You know, we're in the middle of nowhere. And he said, the builder said, he thought that he'd quite like to live up there, but he couldn't deal with the driveway, which is, it's a farm track. It's a farm track, so it's got a few potholes that need negotiating. But I drive a nice car. I've got a little Mercedes coupe here that I drive up and down that, and quite happily. I do it. You can't go fast. It's like, but this has got not much ground clearance and gets up and down there quite happily. But then I was sort of talking about the fact that I grew up on a farm. I'm used to living rurally. I'm used to things not being polished and finished. I'm used to a bit of mud and gravel and that sort of stuff. And and you take one look at my car. Someone said the other day, they were talking about the goats, and they said, have they started headbutting your car? Yeah, and I was like, no. And they said, when they see their reflection in the car, they headbutt it. And I said, well, there's no chance with mine because it's covered in mud. It's like it lives up a farm track. We drive this road every day, which is sealed, but it has a lot of logging trucks on it, so there is a lot of mud that gets flicked up as well. I go out to the yard. There's a similar story out there, and it's just like it's not the most precious thing. And I was coming out to go here, and I was like making sure that I had all my jackets in the back. You can see possibly on the back seat that I've got a couple of extras. And I was just thinking about the fact that as horse riders, as people who spend a lot of our time outdoors, how prepared we are for shit. Like my car has got all sorts of stuff in it. It's got it's got gear, it's got replacement straps, it's got it's got all my jackets and shirts and things for every season under the sun. And it is I can go out for in all weather, and I can survive most problems. I've got all the kit in here if we break down, and I've got extra food and fluid, and all those sorts of things. That we are as a group of people, as a population, as a community, we're prepared for anything. And it's not just the ability. It's not just the fact that we will carry shit around with us, and we've got stuff for every problem, but we've actually got solutions for every problem as well. We are the ones that are quite happy to change a tire on the side of a motorway, or get a power tool out. In New Zealand, we used to say there's not much that can't be fixed with a bit of 4x2 and number 8 wire, which is it's a fencing wire, but it's quite a soft, flexible fencing wire that we use a lot of in New Zealand for stock fences when livestock damage is more of an issue than the strength of it. So we can fix things. My mother tells the story of someone knocking on their door, and her meeting them with a power tool in hand, with a hand drill, and she was, I don't know, putting up pictures or fixing something or making some furniture or whatever she was doing, and she would have been she was 80 at the time, and it was just like, it's just a natural thing, because my mum's grown up rurally. She's actually been on her own. My father died a long time ago, back in the 80s, but she's an independent woman. She just knows how to do stuff and take care of herself, and we have it too, like we as galloping housewives, if you've been round horses, if you've been on the land, you will have jury-rigged something at some stage. You would have made something work out of other out of the stuff that you had to hand. I know I've fixed the floor of my truck when my horse went through the floor of the horse box in a most terrifying accident. Really, really bloody lucky he didn't injure himself seriously, or fatally actually. But we, and just with some plywood and some 4x2 and some long screws, I fixed it before we travelled on. It's like those are the sorts of things that we are capable of, and don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate it. Not just the physical skills, but that problem-solving mindset, that way of looking for a solution, about using the resources that we have at any given time and making things work, because that is huge. That is something that can't be bought. So that's my little chat for today. Just saying that you are awesome and you have more about you than you think you do, and I hope that helps you in whatever you're facing today. Whatever challenges you're facing, just stop, take a moment, sit there and go, okay, what have I got? What can I use? How can I fix this? Where are my solutions? It's no problem asking for help if you need it, but look at the resources you have to hand and then figure out where the gaps are, because they'll probably be less than you think, and your mindset will be half the battle. Right, that's me in Cumnock, and I will chat to you at some stage, probably tomorrow. Like I said, I can anticipate coming out most days this week, so I'll just chat to you when I see you. Bye.